Trust me, you're an addict. And so was I. It was one of those things that really hit home for me yesterday. Now, if you've been following along for a while, you know that I've been doing this, and we're about to hit 240 days. I've nearly completed phase 2 of 126 to greatness, as in 126 days in a row, right? And during phase 1, there was no days off. It was perfection. No misses, no slip-ups, no mistakes, just the work and nothing but the work for 126 days. When I got to phase 2, I was like, I'm going to build in, I feel like I've established that habit. I've built myself. I've established who I am. And I'm going to allow myself 10 days pre-planned, mind you, has to be pre-planned, off my eating plan, off my eating style. Now, we're at, I don't know, I think today's 114 of the 126. I've had 3. So I realized that 10 was way over the top, especially because I wanted to use them for special events. They weren't just to be like, hey, you know what, I feel like a fucking pizza tonight. No, it's about, these are the things, I'll give you the example of what I've used them on. I used one on my wife's birthday. I used one on our 10-year anniversary. And I used one on a on a Christmas festival tradition that we have. Those were the 3 things that qualified for that. Now, out of the 3, 2 of them were fine dining. They were fantastic. It was amazing. I had a great time, really enjoyed it. But the majority of it, apart from wine, was close-ish to what I do normally. Like, there was meat, there's a bit more veg, there was a little bit of like carbs and stuff, and obviously desserts, they're not on there, but the main meals were close-ish. Yesterday, however, is the first time in nearly 240 days where I gave in to those foods and things where, like, I classify them as addiction things. So I had fucking ice cream, and I had lollies, and we had those kinds of things. And it highlighted a few points to me, but one of them was really that how much of this is just addiction and habitual. Not actual, like, full-blown enjoyment of the things, but an addiction to said things. And the reason why I say that is, I used to slam a large pepperoni pizza, a pint or 3 of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, I'd have Swedish fish, I'd have chocolate, I'd have chips, I'd have, the whole 9 yards. I'd have it all. And I have been thinking about it. Like, there have been moments of weakness where I'm like, fuck, I could really, really go that. And so on the back end of this day yesterday, that's what we had. We had pizza and ice cream, and while we're out at this festival, this holiday tradition festival, we had lollies. I didn't care. I really didn't care. And that is not the response that I thought I would have. I was legitimately worried about what was going to transpire. I was worried that when I stepped off, that I'd be like, fuck, this is what I need to do. This is where I need to be. This is who I need. This is the stuff I want. Like, I just need this pizza. I need this ice cream. I got halfway through the pizza and I was like, I could take it or leave it. I got, 4 or 5 mouthfuls into the tub of ice cream. I was like, And I put it back in the fridge. And the biggest problem I have is I was like, we have half a pint of ice cream sitting in our freezer. And I was like, I don't know when the fuck that's ever going to get eaten now. Because it's just like, I don't really care. It didn't have that same effect. It didn't have that allure that it used to have. It didn't have that like, wow, this is just, hitting all those sensory points that I needed it to hit. None of that. It didn't hit any of that kind of stuff. And so I was like, have I actually broken through to the other side of this addiction? And I think that's where I got to. That I have broken the addiction side. That calling to that is no longer there. Pardon for the interruption there. It is 35 degrees here and my camera overheated. But it is that one about that level of addiction that I honestly thought that I was like, this is just who I am. That I always thought that I would be this tempted back into it. But it wasn't. Like, I woke up today fucking excited to eat things that would fuel me, to eat and do things that would energize me and make me feel better and make me feel amazing. I can't wait for this feeling to pass because I feel like shit today. And it's what I was talking about the other day when we were talking about the dad bod and how some people want to almost fetishize it, that it's this great thing that if you have the dad bod and you're out of shape that, you love and care for your family more. And I'm like, no. It means that you are weak and that you are choosing sedation and dopamine hits over feeling good, over feeling great, over being the best version of yourself. As I said, I'm fucking cheering for today. I can't wait for tomorrow because I know I'm going to feel even better. That the crap that I put into my body, though enjoyable at the time, I can't wait for it to pass so that I can feel better about myself, so that I can feel better. I'm bloated, I'm tired, my joints are inflamed, I feel like shit. And it brought me back to this other point, and I've discussed it before, but I think it's a fascinating one, and you cannot truly comprehend it until you get there. And it's this, that if I asked you to rate yourself, energy, health, fitness, all this kind of stuff, or even just down to how you are feeling, on a scale of 1 to 10, the majority of people say that they're a 7 or an 8. If they're really harsh on themselves, they might put them down at a 5 or a 6, generally on how they're feeling. I got this one from a chiropractor as well, and they talked about it too. The honest answer is that most people are somewhere between a 1 and a 3. And they have no idea what a 10 feels like because they've never fucking been there, or it's been so long since they've been at a 10 that they actually have no comprehension of how good it feels, of what that's supposed to feel like. And so they're like, yeah, I'm not doing too bad. And you're like, no, you're doing terribly. You could be doing so much better. You're operating at like 10 to 30% of your potential. Let's fucking ramp that up and get you to up, closer to that 100 mark. You know what, always going to run at 100, but let's get you closer to running at 100%. But they don't know that they don't feel good. It's that classic thing, if you don't know what you don't know. You don't know that you don't feel as good as you could feel. You think that this is good, and you wake up, some days you wake up tired and some days you feel like energized. That energized is still scraping the bottom of the barrel. You should feel incredible. You should bounce out of bed. You should have energy to tackle the day. And most people put it down to aging, and it's not. It's down to accumulation of life choices. That's what you're feeling. That's what's actually holding you back. It's not that you got a bit older, it's that your accumulation of your poor life choices have caught up with you. Now you've got to make better fucking life choices. And that's the gap. And that's where I was at today. Like, I don't want to go back to eating that food because I don't want to feel like this. I didn't feel good during the time. I didn't sleep great last night. I feel like crap today. I feel bloated. I feel stiff. I feel sore. My joints hurt. That workout took a while to get it. I feel puffy. I've got tension in my muscles. I don't feel good, and I don't want to feel like this. And you can't fathom how good you can feel until you take care of the stuff that makes you feel like shit, until you remove the junk food, until you remove the alcohol, until you remove the things that are making you feel crap. You can't know. But on the flip side, for me, and I have other people do it as well, sometimes it's good to have that wake-up call, to have that dip back, that slip back into it, to go, oh, fuck, I was feeling really great. I was loving how good I felt doing that kind of stuff. And B, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I don't want to live every day feeling that shit. I don't want to wake up every day and be like, oh, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, everything fucking hurts. No, that's not the normal. That's not where you want to be. You want to make the right choices and do the right things and make the right decisions. So make those right decisions, make those right calls. Step into that better version of you. Because we talk about it all the time. I firmly believe that we are addicted to these sedation methods, to these cop-outs, to these things that we utilize to make ourselves feel better, to hide from our lives. And it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy things. As I said, the birthday dinner for my wife, the anniversary dinner with my wife, they were amazing nights out. They were incredible. They were things. I even enjoyed all of yesterday. I just don't enjoy the backlash of the choices I made yesterday. So it doesn't mean that you have to give up those things forever. It just means you need to make better, discernible choices about what you're choosing to utilize your time, your effort, your energy, and understand the consequences of that. But I don't think you're there yet. You need to break the addiction. You need to dedicate a portion of your life to living the way you should live. We spoke about the boss and the bitch voice. You need to dedicate some time putting the boss in charge and just saying no, with no exceptions, with no bending of the rules, with nothing but saying no to those vices and being the best version of yourself. Because then you also, can have a look at what's on the other side, have a look at how your life should go, on how you should feel, on how it should be, how much energy and opportunities and all that kind of stuff you can have. You need to know what that side looks like. And B, so that you don't set yourself back to square one. The reason why I see most people fail when they start exercise or nutrition or things like this is they do really well from Monday to Friday, then they take the weekend off and they go back to their normal life. And when Monday rolls around, they're like, fuck me, this is a grind. And they start from scratch again. So you keep starting over. So the chances of you actually being able to follow through are really slim. People say it's too harsh to commit completely with no days off. I think you're actually setting yourself up for failure, taking the days off, cycling on and off. I think you do need to commit with no days off, because then you can build the habit, then you can learn the stuff. You don't have the self-control yet. You don't have the discipline. You don't have that side of it yet to be able to take the days off and set yourself back to square one. You don't have that yet. You have to build it, and then you have to build it by doing it every single day. It's also why we don't start you at 126 to greatness. We don't throw you in the deep end. We can, but we often don't. We start you at chasing greatness. And we start with one fucking habit. And we start with one habit for 30 days in a row. No days off. You gotta start simple. You gotta start at the beginning. You gotta start at where you're at. And then you build it up from there. You need to build that discipline muscle. You need to build it up. And as I said, I do think we're addicts at this. I think we're addicted to this side of it. So we got to start like we're addicts. We got to start with that addiction level. And it starts treating it like that. So if you go to AA or any of those things where you are to break the addiction, you just focus on today. You focus on winning today. You focus on this moment. Can I win this minute, this moment? Can I win this rep, this set, this step? Can I win right here right now, this second, and then win the next second, and then the next minute, and then the next hour, and then the next, 5 hours, and then win the day, and then start all over again. You are trying to tackle a lifetime of habits and addictions and patterns and programming all at once. Fuck that. Win here, win in this moment, and win the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. And just focus on doing that. It's like we talked about the delayed gratification. Even if you're just going to kick something down the line for a little bit, just start with kicking it down the line a little bit and discover if those impulses are true, if those callings are true, if that need is true. When you have that need to have that junk food, that alcohol, the drugs, the dopamine chasing, whatever the fuck it might be, purchasing something, whatever it is, wait 5 minutes, wait an hour, wait 2 hours, wait a day. See how long you can kick it down the line before you give in. And if you get, to the next day and you're like, fuck, I still need this, then it was potentially, at bare minimum, a higher addiction and you needed it. But you showed resilience from delaying it. And maybe next time you can kick it down the road for 2 days, or 3 days, or 4 days. But you are more likely to determine what was an impulse and a moment of weakness versus what was an actual need and desire. And you can separate the two. You can start to break the addiction because you're starting to work out what is true and what is fake. What is real and needed versus what is just habitual and programming and habit. And I discovered that yesterday, and so much of those needs and wants and desires for the pizza, for the ice cream, for the wine, for the lollies, for the chocolate, for all of that kind of stuff was habit. It was habitual. It wasn't real. It was, what are you trying to get from this in this moment? And that's the problem, that you're focusing on these things and not on what's actually a true desire. But by kicking it down a little bit, you can build that resilience. Just kick it down the road a little bit longer. Start to break the addiction and start to get on the other side of it so that you can realize how detrimental it is to you, so that you can realize who you could be if you actually went all in, who you could be if you actually did it properly, how much potential you're leaving on the table by not giving it your all, that you're playing in the 10 to 30% when you should be playing in the 90 to 100%. You haven't even seen who you could be on the other side yet. You don't know what that version of you looks like because you haven't seen him. You haven't seen the opportunity. You haven't given him a chance to come out. I think you'd be in awe of the level you could play at if you actually gave yourself the chance, if you broke these addictions to these things that are derailing you, the sugar, the alcohol, the junk food, the lack of exercise, the poor sleep, all this kind of stuff. You should feel great every day. You should wake up and be like, fuck yes, let's get this day. And you don't know how much you're leaving on the table until you've done the work and been that version of yourself. So it's time to step up and be that version of yourself. It's time to step forward and connect with that highest good, the highest version of you that you can be. It's time to be that man. So if you're ready, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's start you on that journey and let's see who you can become on the other side of that. If you're not quite ready for that, let's click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if you took value from this, if it spoke to you, if you know someone else who needs to hear it, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm here every single day, sharing from the front, sharing from my experiences, and just trying to inspire you as I go through this journey to become the greatest version of myself. And hopefully I can help you along the way and bring you along with me so that we can together find the best and the greatest versions of ourselves. So I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.